Good evening, everyone. This is Divya Dohita Mahajan. I am the founder and director of Inoble Private Limited. It's a mind handling solution company. We particularly work in the corporate wellness sector, and we have been into the field from past 10 years now. Today, we have a very special guest with us, and this is the life that we carry forward to bring in such beautiful topics like the productivity and give the interest to the people. So today we have a Ishita Khattar with us, and she's a corporate lawyer turned business and productivity coach. She helps female entrepreneurs turn their passions and skills into the profitable online businesses so that they can be financially independent, at the same time teaching them how to effectively manage their time. Welcome, Ishita.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So Ishita, now as we know that you have worked as a lawyer, and now you have changed your entire the way you are working into somebody who is helping people out. So how this journey has taken you from somebody who was willing to fight and now somebody who is willing to serve others?
I left my job as a corporate lawyer a couple of years back. It's not a very recent change. It happened about 4 years back. And over the course of these 4 years, I also was into something else. I still am. I'm an influencer also. I talk about lifestyle. And this was a very natural journey for me because I love talking about routines. I love talking about productivity. Divya, you're stuck. Your screen's stuck. Yeah, now
Yeah,
it's
but
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I find myself to be a very planning-oriented person. So this journey of, serving others and helping them becoming a more productive version of themselves just happened very naturally for me.
Okay, that's so wonderful to know, Ishita. But like everyone have their own definition of productivity. When we talk about somebody who is sitting in a corporate, they think about productivity in a different way. And somebody who is a housewife, a particular person will think about productivity in a very different way. So what exactly is the definition that you serve and to whom exactly?
So of course, as you said, you're right when you say that definition of productivity for everyone is very different. But at the end of the day, what really matters is, for a person to realize that have they achieved what they wanted to achieve in a particular time frame. So if they've not done that, then of course that they are not very efficient with time management. And back when I was working as a corporate lawyer, things are completely different. Like my life from what it was then to what it is now, it is a completely different life. So there, even if I was very productive, very efficient, it really didn't matter because at the end my day is according to my boss. Like he is the one who defines my day. My clients are the ones who define my day. But now it's completely different because I am structuring my days according to the way I want them to. So there's a completely different aspect to both. It's a different life altogether, I would say.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true to know that, of course, you have a different meaning to the productivity. But productivity itself, a word, has, two parts. One is the product and the ivity. So when we talk about the product, so product ideally when we envision it in front of us, it's more of a kind something which is material, which is packed well, which is dressed in or wrapped in such a way that is presentable. So when we talk about the productivity in corporate sector, what cost it hold at that point of time where we have to be very polished, where we have to be well versed with all the things so that we present ourselves and get more businesses. How, what cost exactly do an employee pay for that productivity in their personal life?
So basically, I would like to say that most corporates are really very very draining, and the cost that a lot of employees pay in corporates is sort of like they don't have time for themselves at all. And a lot of MNCs are trying to move towards having a work-life balance, but I would like to say here that, with the whole pandemic and working from home situation, this balance has not only been broken, but it also has become much worse now, because there is no division of time between office work and your home. And also, from what I see earlier, the corporates who used to have a very work-life balance, now they are moving. They are actually not having that kind of a balance anymore, and they are sort of, their employees are overworked. They have no time for themselves. I talk to a lot of my clients, because a lot of them are wanting to start their own online businesses. And when I ask them, tell me about your day and how your day is and how do you structure your day, they say that, in the morning we just wake up and we have to switch on our laptops because our bosses call. And at night, what is your routine? So they say that we have no time for ourselves. Sometimes we switch off our laptop at 10 o'clock in the night, sometimes 12 o'clock in the night. And so, at the end of the day, an employee doesn't have time for themselves. And I feel this pandemic, instead of making things better, has made it worse for employees working from home.
Right. And what exact, the way we are living our life, just the way you said that work-life balance is not there in these pandemic times. How much impact it is throwing on the wellness of individual?
Oh, a lot, I would say that, because firstly, everyone's overtired. Plus, with, a lot of people during the pandemic did not have any help with children, taking care of children, taking care of household work, taking care of, office work. There was no, what I see a trend here is that, most of the people don't have time left for themselves. And a lot of times, I try to work with clients, asking them to build routines for themselves, like, especially in the mornings or at night, where they can, if not like a half an hour routine, but at least just take out like 10 to 15 minutes for themselves, because your well-being, your wellness is extremely important at the end of the day. And no matter how much work you do, of course you will be, you will end up earning a lot of money, but at the cost of what? At the cost of your health, at the cost of your mental well-being, at the cost of your physical well-being. And all of this, we don't realize it now, but over the course of the years, it catches up upon us. And I think what we can start off doing right now is, even for people working in corporates, people working anywhere, just start building out routines, starting with like a morning routine or a night routine, where you take out some time for yourself, just nourish your mind, nourish your body, nourish your soul, so that you take care of your overall well-being.
Absolutely right. But from another perspective, when I say I am a organization and an institution that want business out of people, and for me there is nothing else.
Of course.
I don't give damn to what how they feel and what they do. I just want money in my pocket. So with that kind of perspective and that kind of meaning to the productivity, how do we see things changing in next coming years?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Divya?
I'm saying from the perspective of a company,
Right.
where company is considering productivity as something that is entitled to getting more business,
Right.
irrespective of looking the fact that how their employees are going through in these pandemic times.
Right.
How do you see things changing in next coming years?
I just hope that things become better, like, of course, from a company's point of view, and having worked in a corporate sector for like a really long time, I know how things work on the other side also. And companies, so I, when I was working, I would tell you that no matter how productive or efficient I thought I was as an individual, the more productive I was, the more work I would get from my boss, because everyone would think that you get done with work so quickly, so why not give this person more work? And it was just a cycle which would never end. And I really don't see this changing in the next couple of years. especially maybe, you know, if things become a little better, people start becoming more aware of their well-being, their you know, physical health, mental health, then of course things would start becoming better. Because having said all of this, I also see some people, some employees taking a stand for themselves and saying that no matter what happens, I am not going to work on the weekends. And a lot of you know, the top bosses of companies have started understanding that yes, you know, people also have a life other than work, and no matter like whatever work we need to extract out of our employees, we can, you know, try to get it done in the 5-day week, but then, you know, weekends at least just let it be. A lot of companies now, I also see that are you know, giving mothers that kind of flexibility that okay, so you know, you're working from home, you have no help, you have a toddler running around, so you know, just manage your time. But you know, of course they have deadlines, you give your work, you present your work, you're available for clients, but other than that, they're giving that sort of flexibility to mothers also now.
Absolutely. And since I also run a company, I feel that, you know, whenever somebody who is more efficient, I tend to give more of work to that particular person. And somebody who is not working, so probably a kind of, you know, okay, let them drag the time and let them pass it on so that, you know, at least some of the work is getting done. If not all, but at least some of that work is done.
You know, it used to be so strange for me. So even if I would reach office at 9 o'clock, I would still get done at 12 in the night. And even if I would, you know, some days reach office at like 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, I would again be, you know, getting done at 12 o'clock at night. So there was no difference between me reaching early, thinking that, you know, I'll get my work done and get out of office quickly, but there was no difference in that.
But at the end of the day, it's all about the cost that we are paying for it. If not, if we do not realize it for that moment, probably after months and years, we realize when we have almost deteriorated our mental and physical health, that, you know, all those moments when we were supposed to be, you know, into a frame where we are revising ourselves, we were actually working.
Right.
And on and whole, human race is not meant for, you know, working in front of our boxes and just running after the, you know, currency. It is to explore the world, to know who they are, and that's the factor probably we are missing out as a life. And that's the reason we are not able to, you know, understand the way our human physiology is responding to such a massive kind of workload.
So, you know, there are certain countries and certain organizations who've started having a 4-day work week, which is so great, you know, from employees' perspective, that, you know, they are working, they're putting their 100% in those 4 days, but then, you know, those other 3 days, they're just completely off work and, you know, spending time with their family, spending time on themselves, doing things that, you know, they love. So I think we should also work towards that.
Of course, and then again there comes a factor of developed and underdeveloped countries. We are still in a phase of development, and that the phase of development needs a lot of, you know, grinding, because that developed country tag doesn't come so easily. And looking into fact how much populated we are as Indians.
Of course.
And that's the reason we are struggling so hard. A middle class person takes on an average 30 to 35 years to move from a middle class to above middle class. So see the rate of productivity that we have. In these 35 years, our rate of productivity is very minimum.
Right, of course.
And so is our growth. So if we are thinking of something out of box, we need to think as a collective organization, or as a collective human race, or as a collective, you know, citizen of the country, so that every single individual is taken ahead, looking into their productive rate and their, you know, growth rates. So Ishita, I just wanted to know that, you know, as a lawyer, you always must have some sense of, you know, the word as a productivity. So when you used to go, you might be fighting the cases there, or might be, working with some other lawyers. So what sense of productivity actually changed from being a lawyer to somebody who is now helping people?
So honestly, Divya, while I was working as a lawyer, there was no concept of being very productive per se, because everything was dependent on my seniors. Everything was dependent on, say, like, clients, and you were at the beck and call of your client. So even if at 11 in the night a client will call you, you have to answer that, and you are answerable. So the only thing you could do as a while working as a lawyer was that you could just try to manage your time effectively, try to get done with work as soon as possible. But again, in that scenario, it was very, very different from what it is right now.
Okay. And like now you are helping people out, there would be a different meaning to which you have attached, to the productivity.
Of course.
So how you are carry forwarding that particular meaning and helping people in this particular scenario? Looking into the fact how pandemic is, changing the entire course of the way we are working in this world.
So how I help my clients being, making the most use out of their time and effectively managing their time is, firstly, I focus a lot on well-being and their mental well-being. And what I say is, a productive day starts with a productive and a healthy morning. So even if you spend 5 minutes of your day or 10 minutes of your morning on yourself, maybe doing whatever it is that you like. It need not be, say, meditating or exercising. It can be anything. Maybe, just reading for 5 minutes, or listening to some inspirational podcast, or reading or listening to a book for 5-10 minutes. Just, those 10 minutes spending on yourself at the beginning of the day, and also planning out a day, are going to help you have a more productive day. So that's how I help to channelize it. I merge the concept of well-being and productivity together. And I always say that your productivity will come if you take care of yourself first before serving others, because you definitely cannot serve from an empty cup. You need to fill your cup first to serve others.
Absolutely. And we need to first look at oneself. This is our life. Everything that we see around is for our own self.
Right.
Even when we talk about the businesses or anything else, like even the creativity part. So it's all about me and how I'm taking my life ahead. Right. Anything you want to say to our audience before we close up our, this beautiful conversation? Anything, any message?
Just take care of yourself, start building out routines for yourself. And a morning routine or a night routine need not mean you spend like half an hour, 2 hours on yourself. It could just mean 10 minutes of, self-enrichment, nourishing your mind, body, soul, planning out your day in the morning or maybe the night before, so that, you get a productive start to your day. So I think I can leave with that tip.
Thank you so much, Ishita, and we are so happy to have you on board today. Thank you all our viewers for watching us, being so patient and listening to our conversation all through the 30 minutes of our session. And before I end up, I just want to tell you that Enoble Private Limited has till now coached more than 1,000 people all across the world. We have worked with more than 100 companies, and we are still on a goal to bring corporate wellness to all the corporate employees across the globe. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best for your future. Thank you. Take care, Ishita.
Thank you, Divya. It was lovely to be here. Lovely talking to your audience, and thank you for having me here.